Hello everyone, Ben Swanson here. This will be the first video in a series of videos I'm putting together to discuss dieting, specifically my own experiences, knowledge, and research that I've come across during my 46 years now on this planet. What is prompting me to do this now is I have been on the keto diet for about 4 years now, and more recently in the last several months I've switched to the carnivore diet. I had an unexpected medical event back on May 8th. That's less than 2 months ago. It's currently June 25th. And it was due to a congenital heart defect that I had that I didn't know about. It was called a bicuspid valve birth defect. Essentially, I should have 3 valves or 3 flaps in my aortic valve, and I only have 2. And I was born that way and never knew it up until I was driving to work at 11 a.m. and I experienced a horrible pain in my chest. My arms started flailing, horrible headache. I started sweating profusely. I had to call 911 from the side of the road. And very quickly, when I got taken to the local hospital, they diagnosed me with the type A aortic dissection, which I had no idea what that meant. But based on the faces of everyone at the hospital, it was pretty serious. So they flew me to a local hospital, well, not local, University of Michigan is where they took me. Fantastic facility, I have to say, and everybody there was actually absolutely first rate. And they quite literally saved my life. They kept telling me how lucky I was, that a lot of people never even make it to the hospital. They die on the spot. Long story short, I was there and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, everything I thought I knew about dieting was wrong. I thought, my arteries were clogged and, I had a heart attack. I thought it was a heart attack. I thought it was the same thing, and it is absolutely not the same thing, I've come to learn. I told my surgeons everything. I told them my diet, my exercise habits, that I was on carnivore for the last 8 months and I was eating nothing but beef, eggs, and butter, all fat and cholesterol and everything. And their answer to me was, Ben, you're perfectly healthy. They said, we were inside there. We looked at your heart. We were looking inside your arteries. There's no sign of any kind of plaque buildup or anything. They said, for your age, especially, you look amazing on the inside, which is kind of creepy to know that they were looking at my insides. But I got the vindication I was looking for, and they actually told me to keep doing what I was doing. And I'm going to share my blood test results that they gave me the day all this happened, or I should say, as the day it happened for my surgery. And then, I believe the surgery was, 7 hours long. So of course I had a whole bunch of tests done after that. And, strangely enough, everything's within normal limits. So for eating nothing but fat and a lot of salt, too, all my indicators are doing well. So I kind of believe that carnivore and keto were the way to go before, but now I know. And what I want this channel to be is what I know to be true. And I'm not a doctor, so I will say that. However, I am a human. I do have a brain. I think I'm pretty smart. And I also have results, actual clinically shown provable results. And I want to address a couple of the things I hear on a regular basis from my friends even about how, it's not healthy, it's going to kill you, your kidneys are going to shut down, your liver is going to shut down. And, I have facts and tests to prove that that's not happening. In fact, the opposite is true, and everything is functioning better than normal. So I want to address that. And I also want to address the common objections I hear to people who don't agree with the carnivore diet. They always cite the data, or not even the data. They don't cite data. They usually cite something a doctor has told them. And I'm not going to lie, I've heard a lot of the same things from certain doctors. And I think that the doctors are not being honest or disingenuous. I just think they honestly don't know. I think they were taught from data that was taught from inaccurate scientific studies, which I do look at these studies even though I have my own proof and evidence. I still look at the data and I say, well, why does this show that people are dying when they gave them more fat? And it's interesting because if you actually look at a lot of these studies, they show, it'll say the premise of the study right in the beginning. It'll say one group was given a normal, Western diet, based on the food pyramid, etc. And another group was given the same diet, but they were told to increase their meat intake or their egg intake or their butter intake. And they'll say, oh, look, this group that ate more eggs and butter had a higher rate of heart disease and death. And I would say I agree with that wholeheartedly. The keto and the carnivore diet are more so what you're not eating rather than what you are eating. And that is just a fact. I'm sorry, I'm not going to tiptoe around it. A lot of these other guys, and I love them, these guys who talk about how wonderful the carnivore diet and how wonderful the keto diet is, they know what they're talking about for the most part, at least the ones I watch, because they're doing it to themselves and they know the results. They're not they're not lying. They're not like on death's doorstep and they're trying to make themselves look like they're healthy. They actually are healthy. I know this because I'm one of them. And none of us who know this to be true want to force people to do anything. However, it is the right thing to do, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If you want to live, eating the sugar and the carbs because it makes you happy, then so be it. Do it. But it's not healthy and it is hurting you. And that's fine if you want to do that. I used to be a smoker. I used to smoke a pack of cigarettes a day for 15 years. I used to drink a bottle of vodka every day for 4 years. And I made the same arguments about those substances. I said, when everyone said, you're going to die, those things are horrible for you, it's going to kill you. I said, you're right. I know it is. But I'd rather live a shorter, more fun life than a long, boring life. So I made those same excuses when I had an addiction to alcohol and nicotine. I was quite literally willing to die sooner enjoying these guilty pleasures rather than give them up. And I also said, which is another common thing I hear from people about when I tell them to give up carbohydrates, is it's not sustainable. Not sustainable is just a nice way of saying you don't have the mental willpower to stick to it. Okay. And that's subjective. Some people do have the mental discipline to stick to it and some people don't. So to say it's not sustainable for everyone is just not true. And I also made that same argument when I said I thought I would never give up smoking. I thought I can't do it. It's not sustainable for me. I thought to myself, I cannot give up nicotine. I cannot live without this. I am so addicted to it. It's such a part of my life. I can't survive without it. AKA, it's not sustainable for me. Now, there are people walking around who are not smoking. So obviously it is sustainable because I see other people doing it. The same is true of the carnivore keto diet. You may not want to do it. It may seem impossible to do it, but you can't deny there are people like me and many others out there who are doing it. So it is sustainable. It is possible. It can be done. I'll throw a few people up here just real quick that are currently doing it, and they're the textbook health. Yeah. And also a couple of things I'm going to go over is the other things, bigger issues that I want to tackle on this channel. It's called Taught Wrong for a reason. I believe we've been taught wrong as far as diet. In fact, I know we have. This is not a belief anymore. It's a fact, and I have the facts to prove it. The Western diet, as everyone knows, is terrible. Obviously, we have one of the highest obesity rates on the planet. There's a reason for that. It's not just how much we're eating, but it's what we're eating. Also, the food pyramid is just flat out wrong. Healthy grains and fruits like that, it's just wrong. If you look at it from an evolutionary standpoint, we weren't baking bread 50,000 years ago, and contrary to popular belief, we weren't really eating fruits either. We killed things and we ate it, and we ate it on the spot. We didn't have means of preservation until salting came along and then eventually refrigeration. But for the vast majority of human evolution, we killed something and we ate it, which means we ate a lot in one sitting. We did not have a means to keep it. So, they're going to bring up another misconception that I hear. Well, of course your body needs fat and protein and cholesterol, which even the old school doctors will agree that, your brain loves cholesterol. Your body is made from protein. Your cell walls are made from cholesterol. Fat is another major component of your body and is also a fuel source, and one thing you can't deny is there's nothing in your body that's made from carbohydrates. So, just the simplistic statement, you are what you eat. There's no carbohydrates, nothing made of carbohydrates in your body. So I would argue that we don't need them and that actually we're better off without them. Now, again, I love carbohydrates. I love the way they make me feel when I first eat them. No different than I love the way cigarettes and alcohol made me feel when I first ingested them. It's what happens after the fact that is the trap. It's no different than any other drug or addiction. It feels good. It makes you happy. It's what it does to you in the long run. And I would argue that based on my results, that it proves that, number one, all these vitamins and nutrients that they say you need, like, whoa, Ben, you're not getting hardly any vitamin C. You're going to get scurvy. I've heard that so many times. I can tell you that since I've been doing carnivore for the last several months, if the nutrient isn't found in beef, liver, and eggs, I have not consumed it. I have not had multivitamins of any kind. In fact, I drink sugar-free energy drinks, which have a couple nutrients in it, but I would argue most people are going to say, oh, that's going to kill you too. But it has no adverse effects on my body. And also, I wanted to say that I have the blood results that I just showed, or I'm going to show you here in a second. And if, at the very least, this is what I want people who are watching this channel to at least help, get them through to the next episodes where you can actually at least take what I'm saying with a grain of possibility, that you can say this. If there are nutrients that you must have in order to survive that are not in beef, eggs, and liver and butter, then it would be fair to say that anyone who's following that diet should either be dead after so long or extremely sick. I will tell you that I am not sick. I am very, very healthy. I feel very good. And again, I have the test to prove it. And there are people that have been on this diet far longer. There's a person that has been on this, I know, for 8 years. That's eaten nothing but steak and water, essentially. And they are the epitome of health. They have a ton of energy and everything is working very, very well. So at the very least, what I want you to ask yourself is, or not even ask yourself, see if you can accept the fact that what they're telling you is wrong. What they're telling you your body needs, essential nutrients, is not correct. That's all I want you to say. Now, we'll get to what I know to be correct later. I'm not asking you to buy into what I'm saying as far as what is correct. What I'm asking you is to accept what isn't correct. And that is what the daily recommended allowance of all the nutrients they're telling you need. We don't need a lot of them. And the ones that they are saying we need, and we need X amount of milligrams or whatever, is grossly overstated. Because as I said, I'm eating just beef, eggs, and butter, and essentially that's it. So obviously the amount of vitamin C that I'm eating, there's a small amount of vitamin C in beef, but a very small amount. That must be enough, because otherwise I'd be very sick or dead, along with the other believers in carnivore. And I want to talk about why I went from keto to carnivore. Keto worked very well. I lost a lot of weight. I gained mental clarity. My energy level was wonderful. And I heard a few other people talking about carnivore, or specifically the lion diet is probably more accurate, because carnivore is more, it's animal products, whereas the lion diet is basically just, meat, eggs, and butter. And I have to say the effects I felt from keto were amplified when I switched to carnivore. Even more mental focus, more energy. I noticed definition in my body with working out minimally. And I just overall felt better. I slept better. I woke up feeling more energetic. I noticed my focus when I'm reading something is so much better. And I also noticed my mood. There's other people who had this concern that they had depression when they were on a normal Western diet. And then when they switched to keto, in carnivore, they noticed that their mood improved, that they actually emotionally felt better. And my experience is identical, and I cannot overstate this enough, but the last recourse of someone arguing against this is, well, everyone's different. I hate that answer, because it's a cop-out BS answer that it's stupid. It's saying, well, Ben, you breathe oxygen, but just because you breathe oxygen doesn't mean the rest of us do. We're all different. No, we're obviously all human, and our bodies function the same fundamental way. And I will say maybe there's some outlandish medical condition that exists that, might, obviously, if you're allergic to eggs, perhaps, but that doesn't mean you can't just eat beef. But those, I would argue, are very few extreme outliers, but I know a lot of people will claim that they're one of those outliers because it makes them feel better about not being strong enough to actually follow the diet. Believe me, I don't want to follow this diet. I wish this diet was not correct. It is. And I miss fruit. Fruit's my favorite food. I love it. But it's again, I'm going to reference smoking and alcohol. I loved smoking and drinking. I loved the way it made me feel. But afterwards, the last time I broke my diet and I splurged on fruit, I felt terrible the next day. I felt horrible the next day. And, because it's basically just candy. It's sugar. It doesn't matter. Oh, there's another one I want to bring up. But it's natural, Ben. It's natural sugar. Oh, stop. All sugar is natural. There's artificial man-made sweeteners, but all sugar comes from the ground. All of it, whether it comes from sugar cane or whatever, it's all natural. And the argument that just because something is natural means it's good for you is also stupid, because arsenic is natural. Something like 70+% of the plants on the planet are toxic, and they're all natural. So I hate that term natural. Okay, so just because something's natural doesn't mean, in fact, I would argue that most things in nature want to kill you. Plants, since they can't defend themselves, they have chemicals in them that make something that's eating them sick or eventually kill them over a long enough time span. It's their only defense, because they obviously can't attack you to defend themselves, so they're going to get you chemically. So these are things that are factually proven true, but I have a feeling I'm going to get a lot of blowback from people in the comment section about this stuff, calling me stupid and an idiot, and that's fine. It is what it is, but if you look at the facts objectively, you cannot argue them. And if somebody wants to post something about, some study done somewhere that contradicts what I'm saying, please post it so that I can pull it up and we can look at it together. I will pull it up and we'll dissect it. I'm more than happy to do that, but at the very least, I wanted to show this stuff and show what I know to be true, not just a feeling, not just a gut. I'm not just doing this for views. Maybe no one will ever see this, who knows? But at least I know I put it out there, and I want people to ask questions. I want them to talk to me. I want them to, if they feel the need to attack me and whatever, so be it. I'm a big boy. I can handle it. But I have data, I have facts, and I think other people can live a very beneficial, healthy lifestyle if they're willing to listen and look at facts, not feelings and not anecdotal things that they've heard a doctor on TV say, or even their own doctor say. Back everything up with facts. I'm going to back everything I say up with facts, not gut feelings. I'm going to have some solid evidence, and I'm also going to have some, basic evidence or thought that, maybe if someone can challenge me on some things. But if you think about a lot of this stuff logically, it makes sense. And it's very easy to actually see how the current way we're doing things is wrong. So, first step, look at what's happening, look at the diet, look at the recommendations, and at least be honest with yourself and go, this isn't right, because if that were true, then this would be happening. Just logical thought, and again, I know it's going to irritate people, but hey, show me some data that you want me to dissect, show me something that you think I can't prove, incorrect or inaccurate, and we'll go from there. But thanks for watching. I'm going to try to put out another video as soon as humanly possible, and I think this will be good for everybody. Have a good one.